3, go.
Hello, everyone. We're getting close to the end of September here and moving through with the second section. So we're going to start class with some warm-ups today, but always a salute first. Thank you for joining me. So Pierre reminded me that it's really important when he started his class to kind of work with the static moves and work on the warm-ups. So let's just take a few minutes here and just roll through the joints here. So we're just going to start with the head and just doing some neck rolls. So just drawing the chin towards the chest, ear to the shoulder, dropping back and around. Just opening up the neck. Doing maybe 3 circles. And then once you get back with the chin towards the chest, follow the other direction. So ear to shoulder, keeping the shoulders down, back and around. Just working on the neck here. Chin comes back to the chest and then just drawing up the head, nice and long. Moving into the shoulders here. So we're going to draw them up and back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, down and around. Up and back, down and around. 3 nice big circles coming back and then moving forward. So really come up, forward, and back and around. Nice big circles here. Really draw the shoulder blades together. Let the arms move up as you draw the shoulders up. After you do those 3 circles, let's just rotate the arms. So just using the elbow joints, pressing the palms down, trying to keep those elbows in the same space so when we reach the bottom, rotate. Because we're going to draw that into our practice, rotate. These are really important to learn because we're going to do these throughout the whole form. And then we're going to go the other direction. So rotating the other direction. This should kind of feel like wave hands here. 3 circles. Good. So now let's work with the wrist. Maybe grabbing the arm so then you can just rotate the wrist here. So we don't want any movement in the other arm, just maybe forearm and wrist. So just doing a few circles here. Open up the wrist, sitting the palm up, and then going the other direction, tilting down. Sitting up, nice circles, warming up the wrists, and then the other side. So maybe grabbing the arm, so it's stable, and same thing, big circles, as much movement as you can get out of the wrist without moving the rest of the arm here. And then other direction. Good. Now while we're doing all of these, we should be focusing on our breath too, so that we have that long, even, continuous breath to bring into our practice. So let's move into our hips here. So you can take the feet shoulder width apart, and we're just gonna make circles. So drawing the hips out to the side, pressing them forward, out and around. Nice big circles with the hips here. Out and around. Really opening everything up. So when we move into our practice, it'll be a little bit easier. Then we're going to go the other direction. Good, and return. So there's a couple things we can do with the knees here too. One might be just kind of coming into a squatting position and making circles with the knees. Other people might want to stand on one leg and kind of swing the knee back and forth, just whatever's comfortable. This is a nice stable position here to just kind of warm up the joints. Not everyone has a wall to grab or something, so just do what feels good for your body. Okay, do we feel like we're warmed up now? We got the joints moving a little bit. All right, so we're going to practice what we did last week, and then we're going to move into our new movements. So we're going to start cross hands and go all the way through diagonal flying. After we practice it twice, we'll see if anyone has any questions. If not, we'll move on to the next posture. So starting at cross hands, feet shoulders width apart, sinking down, tucking the tailbone, lifting the head, relaxing the shoulders. Shift the weight, turning whole body and left foot, separate the arms. 2 circles, step out, Gaze follows the right hand as we show striking for Embrace the Tiger. Moving into roll back, connect, and turn. Circle in, touching the forearm, pressing out. Squaring up, arms open for push. Moving back, really using the legs here for push. Moving into fist under elbow, flat the arms, turning, big circle. Fingertips point to center before pushing out to the side. Stepping out, showing ward off. Rotate. Transition to heel stance, showing fist under elbow. Repulse monkey. Pick up, circle, step. One forward, one back. Number 2. Circle, step, forward and back as we rotate the front foot. Number 3. Step and show striking. Diagonal flying, big circles with the arm. Stepping out to the side and show splitting energy. Okay. Let's do it one more time, and then we'll answer any questions. So again, starting at cross hands, choose a principle to focus on. Maybe it's lifting up your head. Maybe it's relaxing the shoulders and elbows down. Or maybe it's relaxing the waist, and focus on that through the whole practice. Shift the weight, turning. Embrace tiger, return to the mountain. Step and show striking. Roll back, connect, and turn. Press, circle, touch, press out, and push. Fist under elbow. Big circle like single whip. Pushing out to the side. Transition step with ward off. Another step while you rotate, make a fist. Coming up and showing punching. Repulse monkey. Rotating, step. One forward, one back. Number 2, circle, step, forward and back as you rotate. Number 3, step and show striking. Diagonal flying, big circles with the arms. Step and show splitting energy. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for that portion of the form so far? All right, we'll take that as a no. So today we're gonna go from diagonal flying into raise hands, steps forward, and then we have a couple of repeat movements. So essentially raise hands and step forward is a repeat movement from the first section of the form, but it's a little bit of a different transition. So I'm gonna do it one time for you to watch, and then we're gonna work on the footwork and then the hands, okay? So I'll actually do it twice. I'm gonna do it once facing the direction we practice and once facing you so you can see the arms. So from diagonal flying, we're at the corner direction. We re-step, the arms start opening up because we're gonna go to the 12 o'clock direction, stepping out, showing waist turning as the arms close. So again, from diagonal flying, we're at the corner direction. We're gonna re-step, the arms open up, circle in, waist turning as they close. All right, so the footwork, we want to make sure that when we do the footwork, we're in our bow stance to the corner direction. What's going to happen is I'm going to come straight towards you. So when I pick up my foot, I need to make sure that I put it down at 45 degrees. But what's going to happen here is we want almost one line or footwork a little bit crossed so we can rotate on the toes and then change to an empty stance on the heel. Okay, so let's just do the footwork a couple of times. So sink down into your left leg, foot to the straight direction, nice natural stance to the corner direction, bow stance. Move the weight into the right leg, pick up, step back. Both feet to corner direction. Shift the weight back, rotating on the toes, touch with the heel, and then pour 30% of the weight forward into that heel stance. Okay, let's do it again. Bow stance, corner direction, natural stance, move the weight forward, pick up, step to the corner direction, rotate as you move back, pick up, change to the heel, move the weight forward. All right, does anyone have any questions on the footwork portion of this movement?
Yes, Cheryl, I do. It's Marion. You said step back. Are you stepping back more than normal? Like,
no, but
a long step back, or?
Always natural. So let me do it from this direction so that maybe you can see. Okay, so I'm to the corner direction. I'm saying step back because my foot's coming behind. So I'm not reaching really far, okay, but I'm not picking up and stepping at the same length. Okay. So I'm to the corner and I'm stepping back because what's going to happen is my right leg is going to be in the front, right? This is the front of our empty stance. So we have to make sure that we step back enough that when I rotate, I just pick up and go to the heel. So okay, whatever that is for your stance.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else? That was a good question. All right, let's move on to the arms. So the arms, when we do raise hands and step forward in the first section, we're coming from single whip. So the arms are already in an up position and they just come back and forward. Here, our left arm is down. So what's going to happen is when we step, the arms are going to open. So your left arm comes up and the right palm's always a little bit higher than the left here. And they're going to open and circle back and circle forward and close. So let's just take a moment with the arms. So we're in diagonal flying. Right palm's facing up, left palm sitting by the hip. We're going to open up and then we're going to circle in and close. So one thing that we don't want to do here is when we open, we don't want to open too much. Okay? Still keep the back rounded, chest sinking in. So from here, arms open up, circle, and close. Good, so the left fingers point to the right forearm center because we're controlling our opponent's elbow with the forearm, closing. Right arm's a little bit straight, not totally straight, little bit straight. Cheryl, left fingertips point to the center. Yes, Marion?
Excuse me, what do you mean exactly by circle? When the arms come in, they circle. I thought they just kind of came in a little bit. But you're
so we don't want straight, 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 straight.
Right.
We want it's a little circle. So it's a little rotation where you come in and out. So it's not a back forward.
So it's not like just kind of closing in at angles. It's actually a circling back sort of and then out.
Yeah, so everything is circular, right?
Yes.
So all of our circles come down, our circles can come up. This circle comes back, and in, back and in. So there's no, when you get to the back position, it's not just going to be straight line. There's a little curve in that back position.
Okay.
Yes, that looks great.
Okay. Okay. I think I had
Exactly.
some
So it's
straight.
circle.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think I was doing it on more of a straight angle or corners.
It's really easy to do this movement. Yeah, to come straight and then go straight. But we want to come and circle a little bit.
Yeah.
Get that fluidity within the motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's put it together and see how it feels. So I'm going to face you. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but then you can see where my arms line up. So we're in diagonal flying. Right foot forward, right arm, elbow over the knee. Relax that left arm, palms like sitting on a table. We're going to move the weight forward, step, arms open up, relax the foot. Circle back, and now here, waist is turning. So our body and hips kind of are to the corner direction, but we're looking straight forward. Fingertips no higher than the nose, looking straight ahead. So we don't want to have the head turned and then be looking. Look. Very nice. Let's do it a couple of times. So from diagonal flying, move the weight forward, step, open up, change to the heel, waist turning, looking. Fingertips point to the forearm center. 70% of weight is in the back. Check on your leg. Let's run through real quick. If you can hold, maybe take a higher stance. Check our legs. Knees are in line. 70% of the weight's in the back, 30% in the front. Waist is relaxed, tailbones tucked, shoulders down, elbows down. Good. Nice work. It's always good to hold the stance for a little bit and try to feel the energy flowing. The leg tingling is a good thing. All right, one more time. Diagonal flying, natural stance. So always stepping out until we get used to what is our stance. So looking to the right palm direction, pick up, step, changing our looking direction, arms open up, circle, and show raise hands and step forward. Okay, good. How does that feel? Is everyone okay with this movement? Does anyone have any questions? All right. All right, so when we do this movement, we don't want to have the arms come down. So we don't want to have the arms come down and then go back up. What's going to happen is the left arm's going to come up slightly, and then they're going to pull back and circle out. We're not going to pull back and down and up. We're just going to pull back and then come out. So no down really, more out, open and close. So as we move the weight back, we open, weight forward, we close. Good, everyone do it a couple more times. So maybe just from your empty stance, open and close. Open and close. Good, and so you have the side view. All right, so we open, and when we heels touch, weight coming forward, turning. We're turning. So waist is important here. Always using the waist, but not too much so that our knee comes open, but we don't want to just do the arms. Can you see the difference from just doing the arms from doing the arms and turning? So incorporate your waist turning into this movement. The power comes from rooting in the heel, turning the waist. It's expressed in the arms. Good. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. It's good to see everyone doing so much practice. Okay, does anyone have any questions on that movement? All right, so the next two moves, we already know. It's the same as the first section. So from raised hands, we go into white crane and brush knee. So let's link that all together from diagonal flying all the way to brush knee, and then we'll talk about the next movement. So natural stepping out, diagonal flying, raise hands and step forward, pick up, open the arms, changing to the heel, closing. White crane spreads its wings, both arms circle down, left arm comes up and around, step, move the weight, separate the arms, white crane, brush knee. Two big circles, stepping out and striking. Okay, does anyone have any questions on those two repeat movements? How do we feel about that? All right, so I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna check out what's going on. Okay, Yali.
I like to clarify white crane. I see some
Sure.
when they do closing, I see some look back a little bit, but some of them don't at all. So they have a bigger shoulder turn.
Okay, so this was actually one of the great moves that when I started training with Nancy, she really helped me out with. So from raised hands, both arms are going to circle down, and the eye direction can follow the left arm, okay? But what Master Yang also says is that this could be a shoulder strike. So when we do this movement, we do want to follow the gaze direction towards the left. And then we're going to step, and this could be a shoulder, but we don't need to be looking this direction the whole time. Because the meaning of this movement is our opponent is coming to us with a push or with a strike with one arm, and we're just going to ward off up. But with a push, what we want to make sure is that we're following. And when we're closing, our opponent's arms are inside. They're going to be in this space here that I've created. So we can't do that if we're just looking this direction, right? So we want to follow and circle down and then step. It doesn't have to be a big head turn, but we do want to follow, look, and then come to the forward direction. Does that make sense, Yali? Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, you do. It's just that some
Nancy
have, a bigger shoulder turn.
Well, so I wouldn't say it's a shoulder turn because we're squaring up, right? So we're going from corner and then we're coming to straight. So we're not going to go from corner and open up past the straight direction. We're going to go from corner to straight. We're not going from corner to the other corner. So from corner to straight. And we stay straight the whole time. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, this one really got me because I was doing this similar, but I was missing the application of it. So when you do this movement, you want to make sure that this arm comes up and down, okay? We're not just going to swing it around. Do you see the difference between those two movements? So when we're in raised hands, both arms come down, but we want to use that elbow that we were warming up earlier, rotate and close. Good, good. We don't just want to come and circle. We want up and down. Yes, that looks really good. That's really important. We're closing around our opponent's pushing arms. So we want to make sure that we really leave the space to close. We're not just going to swoop in. We're going to close. And then one up, one down. Yes, I love the arm circles I'm seeing. That looks great. Okay, so let's do this from raised hands.
Cheryl.
Okay, Marianne, sure.
You do,
Yeah.
when you do that swinging out, you don't need to think about it being like so much a big circle out as you need to think of it as getting your arm in position to come close. Correct?
Yeah, it's not a huge, so when I do the circle, I'm not doing a huge circle out to the side,
Right.
right? So it's not this huge thing. I'm circling and kind of like wave hands in a way where we get to that down position or brush knee, right? Because all these movements are very similar. When we get down, circle. So I'm not doing this waist and shoulder swooping circle. Circling, rotating, close. Good.
Okay. Okay.
And we always want to leave that space in the arms too, right? So when we do the circles, we don't want to circle and collapse the arms. We want to leave that space in the armpits, circle.
Okay.
Good. That'll make a big difference too, because as soon as you close the arms, the energy is going to stop flowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So arms open. Using the shoulder and elbows always to do these rotations. So just like when we were doing in the beginning with our elbows, the right arm's going to do that nice circle down using the elbow.
Right.
Elbow. Same thing with the left arm. It's going to rotate down like we were, but then it's going to use the elbow. So doing these warm-ups, doing these things, rotating these joints, that's everything we're going to be doing within the form. It's the same thing we were doing right here, but one's going this way, one's going the other way.
Right.
So it's how we put them together, because here we were doing them and they were both going the same direction, right?
Well, I do know that
Same direction.
Nancy emphasizes pulling, like you're pulling someone at first. So I've been thinking of that pulling motion more than I'm thinking about just
Yes.
like swinging my arm, you know? So I'm trying to, I guess I'm thinking of that, you know, but then.
So you have to combine them together.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
it's a pulling down. It's a pulling down. But sometimes when we think pulling down, our arms close.
Right.
So we want to pull down, but then we want to capture our opponent's arms. So we want to create, after we do the pull, we want to create those nice circles.
Okay.
Because we're closing around a push. Imagine someone's pushing to my chest or my stomach, two-handed push, just like we would do in the form, right? So we have to imagine that we're gonna come around their arms. I wish I had someone to show you, because I really like this application, because it's really interesting, because when someone pushes you for this movement and you capture their arms in this way, what happens is when you open up, both of their arms do this too.
Right, right.
So once they push to you and you open, their arms split as your arms split, which is really interesting. It's a really cool movement, but I don't have another person to show you with, so I'm sorry.
So
So we want to make sure we have the pull
where would you say that the pull,
and the circle.
that the pulling motion, where do you sort of end, I don't know if you ever end off with the pulling motion, but where do you start emphasizing just the swinging movement of your arm on, you know, the pivot on the arm? Do you like just pull down to a certain spot and then you're just continuing on? Or
All right, so raise hands. So we're pulling down, right? We're pulling.
right.
So I would say once I get to this point, I'm starting the rotation,
Okay.
right? Because if you look, we're in raised hands, and I'm gonna pull down. But then my elbow gets to this point where if I pull any further, my arm's gonna collapse.
That's what I was
So
wondering, yeah.
Keeping that space open, so doing a little pull, but then doing the rotation. And
Okay.
it's the same thing with this side. We're gonna come down, but I don't wanna come down and close, you know, first close this off. I don't wanna come down and close. I wanna come down, and then I don't wanna open too much, right? So there's this point where I come down, and then I rotate again.
Okay, thank you. That'll help me.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's interesting. Like I remember the first time I saw this way of how your body moves, but you're not moving. And I remember for me, the first time was in parry, block, and punch, and it was this realization of this hand doesn't move in three-dimensional space. Everything moved around it. Can you guys see that? It's like this hand's not moving. My body is just coming forward because this is holding an opponent back. And this is the same thing here. We're pulling, but then my elbow is not really moving in three-dimensional space. Does that make sense in a way? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, so like that was the first time. And then once that clicked, I kind of saw these other things where it was like, we really have to use our joints and rotate for these movements. We don't just want to have everything always moving every direction, right? Even so, I can't even almost do it, right? Because shoulders are down, elbows are down. It's rotating in space.
Yeah, that observation is going to make quite a difference to the way I look at things.
It changed everything for me. Yeah, I'm glad it can help you, Marion.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's do it one more time from diagonal flying to brush knee. Okay, I'm gonna go the direction that we normally practice. Natural stance, diagonal flying. Raise hands and step forward. Move the weight, pick up, arms open as we move back. Touch with the heel, closing. White crane, pull down, circle, rotate both arms, step. Stepping out, open the arms. Brush knee. One circles down, one up, then they switch. Step out, halfway when the palm's in front of the shoulder, and show striking. All right. I'll ask one more time. Any questions before we go to needle at C-bottom? Okay, so I'm gonna do it one time, and then we'll break it down. So we're at brush knee. Left foot forward. We're gonna drop the hand down as we re-step. Not too far down, just a little bit. Then we pull back, change to the toes, sink down, needle at C-bottom. Okay, so the footwork is kind of similar from brush knee to handstrums the loop. So we're gonna start left foot forward in the standard bow stance. What we're gonna do is move the weight forward and step in closer. We're gonna move the weight to the right leg, pick up the toes, change to an empty stance on the toes. And then we're just gonna sink down, okay? So whatever's natural. You don't need to feel like you have to have this long stance and sink all the way down. We can have a shorter stance and just sink, just a little bit, bending forward. Okay, let's do the footwork again. So, stepping out into a natural bow stance. Weight comes forward, pick up, step closer in. So we're stepping closer forward and closer to the side so that we can make an empty stance. Move the weight back. Come up onto the heel, change to the ball of foot and toes, and then we're gonna sink down. Okay, so the footwork's not bad, right? We kind of done that before in the first section. So for the arm movements, what we're gonna do is from brush knee, we're gonna imagine that our opponent has maybe grabbed us. So we're gonna let them take us as we step in. Then we're gonna pull back and try to pull out of this grab. So it's very important here. We're gonna let the arm sink down, but not down too much. And we definitely don't wanna come up. So when we reset, come down, fingertips point down. And as we pull back, we really wanna make sure shoulder and elbows are down, pull back. Left arm comes up. Okay, now I'd like to see everyone just do that part, because this could be a little difficult. So from brush knee, right palm forward, left leg forward, palm starts sitting up. Really sit that palm up, show striking shoulder height. Good. Now re-step and bend forward with the palm, sinking down, then pull back. So we're coming, good. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna come closer here. So we start at a brush knee, we're gonna pull and sink down first before we pull back. And the hand's gonna end up about temple level. Now you're gonna notice that my elbow's sinking down. I'm not pulled up. Sink down. So here, the hand kind of makes a little bit of a different shape. It's not the normal, really open palm because we're sitting down. So can everyone see the difference of we're not doing this, sit the palm down, because what's happening here, we're gonna let our opponent take us, and then we're gonna try to pull out of the grab. Good. Yeah, and elbows down. Remember, elbows down here, really sink down. This is just simply pulling out of the grab. And what you'll do is you'll use that left arm, and that's, you would maybe help with pulling out. Nice. Yes, really good movements. Okay, so that's step one of this, right, is pulling out. But then why do we sink down? Say our opponent didn't let go. They've got like a death grip on your wrist here, okay? So afterwards, what you could do is you could take the palm and come around. So what you would do is you would come around the arm, and as you sink down, you would break the grab that way. So your opponent would be grabbing here, and you would come around their arm and then sink down. And what you'll come to notice, have your partners grab your wrist for you, and just a light grab. But what you'll notice is if you just do this and you try to break the grab just like this, it's not gonna work very well. But the tiniest movement down is really gonna give you that power here. Nice work. Okay, let's put it all together. Me. Left foot forward, right palm out in front. Shift the weight, drop the palm slightly, re-step. Pull back, left arm comes up. Change to the toes. And then here, it's just a sinking of the body, not very much changing. Arm sinks down on a nice curve. Yes. Okay, good, return. This one can be a little hard on the knees. So when we're sinking down, it doesn't matter how far down you go. It doesn't matter how far down. We want to make sure that our knee is in line. We don't want to sink down and have our knee in. Can you see the difference in my legs? If I'm open versus if I sink down and everything turns in. So focus on your alignment as you sink down here. That looks really good. I like seeing that alignment. That's what's gonna help our bodies. That's what's gonna regenerate everything. Okay, so let's try it a couple of times. From brush knee. Move the weight forward, right palm drops slightly. Pull back. And as you sink down, nice curve with the arm, sinking down. And stop. Okay, let's do it again, and then I'm gonna watch. So from brush knee, move forward, drop the palm, re-step, pull back, coming up on the heel, left palm comes up, change to the toes, nice curve down with the palm, needle at C-bottom. Hand ends up somewhere probably around the knee. The left palm ends up around the knee no matter how far you sink. Okay, let's have everyone do it one more time and I'll watch. So from brush knee, ooh, those brush knees are looking good. Needle at C-bottom, moving the weight forward, hand drops, pull back, change to the toes, and sink down. That looks really good. Wow. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about is the left arm. So the left arm doesn't have to do a lot of work, but what we do want to note is we want to keep that softness in the arm. We don't want to have a straight arm, slightly rounded, and we keep that through this whole movement. Slightly round, not locked out, slightly rounded. And then as we change, still keeping that slightly rounded arm. Let's do it again and try to keep that in mind, okay? So from brush knee, weight moves forward, hand drops. Keep that softness in the left arm, elbows and shoulders down as we pull back. Change to the toes, needle at C-bottom. And return. Nice, Marion. Very nice. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Yeah, Donna.
Not really a question, just an observation. I have a really bad habit when I pull back of being on my front toe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the difference in the world if I keep the heel, because then I'm pulling against somebody, whereas the toe, I'm like, psh.
Exactly. And what you'll notice too is when we change our footwork, if we're going to a stance on the toes, we're going to pull back on the heel so that we can then transition to the toes. If we're going into a heel stance, we're going to pull back on the toes maybe and then change to the heel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
So
I've just been doing it wrong for years. It's like, woo.
But now you got it. Now you got it. So, you know, that's another thing to think about too is, you know, the stability of this movement. When we pull back, we can't push off the toes here, and we also don't want to lean back, right? So we want to keep that lean forward as we pull back. You see how I'm still angled forward here? I'm not sitting up straight, and I'm definitely not leaning back. I'm still leaning forward so that I can have that weight and stability before I change to my toes and drop down. Let's see it, Donna. Let's see what you got. So re-step, pull forward, and then pull back. That looks great. How did it feel?
Yeah, I have to remember because I've been doing it for years with the toe. So it's like I just have to remember to keep that, to push against that heel, basically. Which you would do. If you had somebody grabbing your arm, you would be.
But now you know the meaning, so you've linked it all together. It'll take a while. I had little things that, you know, once you learn it, it takes longer to unlearn. But it's possible. You just have to think about it as we get into that part of the movement. All right, so does anyone else have any questions before we do it a couple more times and close class? Okay, let's just do the brush knee to needle at C-bottom, and then we're gonna link it all together, okay? So one more time from brush knee. Weight moving forward, pick up, fingers point down, pull back, come up on the heel, change to the toes, sink down. Okay. Oh, I like those end positions. I got to see quite a few of them. They look good. It's really important here that when you sink down, you sink back. We don't want to sink down and come forward on our toes. We want to sink down and back. And everyone was doing that. That looked great. All right, let's link it all together. So starting at cross hands. Embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. So move the weight, turning. Separate the arms, 2 circles, step, open up, and show striking. Roll back, connect out, and turn. Press, circle, touch, press out, keeping that elbow and shoulder down. Open up, pull back. Really focus on your legs here. Push is a great opportunity to use the legs. Fist under elbow. Flatten the arms, circle. Pushing out to the side. Step for the warding off. Connecting to your opponent, turning, making a fist. Stepping on the heel, fist under elbow. Repulse monkey. Circle. Step. 1 forward, 1 back. Circle for number 2. Step. Forward and back. Number 3. When your foot touches, hands in front of the shoulder, show striking. Diagonal flying. Big circles with the arms. Stepping out, show splitting. Raise hands and step forward, our new move. Step, open up, change to the heel, and waist turning as you close the arms. White crane. Circle down, rotate those elbows. Step, open up the arms, spreading your wings. Brush, knee, and push. 1 circles down, 1 circles up. Step, open up, and show striking. Needle at sea bottom. Shift the weight, pull back, come up on the heel. Change to the toes, sinking down, nice arc with the arm. Great. All right. We're a little past time, but would everyone like to do it one more time? We got a few, okay. All right. Let's do it one more time. Whole section, or at least what we've learned so far. So from cross hands, shift the weight, turning for embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. Looking to the left palm and then looking to the right. Strike, roll back, connect out first, and then show turning. Circle in for press, and push. Open up, back, and forward. Fist under elbow. Flatten the arms. Left arm circles first. Pulling fingertips together before pushing out to the side. Re-step, showing that ward off. Turn, show grabbing. Circle left arm down and up as we show punching with the right. Repulse monkey. Circle, foot touches ground when the palm's in front of the shoulder. 1 forward, 1 back. Circle for number 2. Step, pulling and striking at the same time. Number 3. Step, show striking. Diagonal flying. Open up the arms, big circles, touching, showing splitting energy. Raise hands and step forward. Re-step, open up, touch with the heel, waist body turning. White crane, circle down. We're gonna step and touch as we open up the arms. Brush, knee, and push. 2 circles. Stepping as we reach the back position, open up, and strike. Needle at C-bottom, coming forward, pulling back, heel, changing to the toes, sinking down. Okay. Great work, everyone. We're adding more and more. This looks really good. All right, so your goal this week is to practice all the way through to needle at C-bottom. Next week, we'll add fan through the back. All right. Anyone have any questions before we close class?
I do have one quick question about diagonal flying.
Sure.
When you
Yeah.
when you put your arm out, I was always thinking of the frisbee throw, and so my arm was always fairly extended, but and maybe a little bit of an angle up to this, you know, like this. And
Yes.
I noticed yours is maybe bent a little bit more, and it's more like you're lifting it out, and the palm is up, facing up. Is that correct?
So the palm is facing up, and yes, you're right. This is where Nancy and I differ a little bit, and I'm trying to work on straightening my arm a little bit more. So what's going on here is you have your opponent, and you're striking using the forearm side, okay? So you're using your waist, and you're turning into your opponent. So yes, my arm is definitely not as straight as Nancy's, but I would say follow Nancy.
So should the palm be facing up to the sky more, or tilted slightly at an angle?
No, it should be one line.
Okay.
And if mine is tilted, it's not correct. It should be one line from the forearm through to the palm.
Okay.
So no tilt or bend in any direction. It should
Angle
just
of
be
the
a
hand
nice
or
angle.
Okay.
Yeah, so even if you're straighter or you're more bent like I am, it's still in line. We're not going to cause a kink
Okay.
at that joint there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a really good class.
Yeah.
Thank
Carol,
you.
yes, it was excellent. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so everyone has a bunch to work on this week. All right, so all the way from cross hands through to needle at C-bottom, and then next week we'll add fan through the back, all right? Thank you everyone for joining me today. Great work.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
See you next
Cheryl.
week.
Bye.
Bye.